Peace and grace, peace and grace. Yo, this is Koluka solo by Otito, Mbundu, Pateki. Coming at you again with another study session for the revolution of your mind, of course. The title of this session is called The River Tina. And if you a student of the scriptures, then you know that the River Tina is the beginning of Shem's land. The River Tina is the beginning of Shem's land. So it's important in the context of understanding land, people, prophecies, things of that nature. You know, it's like being able to put a face to a name. If I could say that for lack of a better term, to be able to put a face with the name. Okay. So we about to jump into this right quick. And I'm gonna bring forth the proofs to showcase that the River Tina is not what we thought it was, if we had any idea at all. Okay. All right, let's jump into it. Let's read what it says here. Okay. And I gotta say this too, because the last time that I came with it, I said that the River Tina was the Blue Nile. Okay. I was, going on the feeling, man. Like it was just the whole route just kind of like came over me. I just got a feeling like it looked familiar when I read the text. And so when that feeling came over me, that inspiration came over me, I just began to jot down and take notes. You know what I'm saying? And dig my heels in, looking for evidence, because I feel like I knew what it was. You know what I'm saying? It was a weird thing or whatever. But once I came with the abyss, being the Nile, I was certainly convinced that I have found the right route. Okay. But yeah, the Tana, the Blue Nile that came from Lake Tana, yeah, I was just a little bit off. I was in the right ballpark, you know what I'm saying? But with these kind of things, we like to be precise, you know what I'm saying, when we can, is the best way to be, you know what I'm saying? So, you got everything down packed. So I'm glad to be able to bring some evidence today forward to showcase where the river Tina is. And by far, it's going to tell where the land of Shem is ultimately. Okay. So let's start reading the book of Jubilees. And I'm reading from, what version is this? I'm reading from, this version right here from the library of Wellesley College. Okay. And it is the book of Jubilees, the little Genesis translated from the Ethiopic by R.H. Charles. Okay, blow that up a little bit. Translated from the Ethiopic by R.H. Charles. You know, the Ethiopic church has never been conquered. The Ethiopia has never been conquered. This book was published in the year 1902. Okay, the book of Jubilees, or the little Genesis. Jubilees used to be in the Bible. They took it out. In the original version of the KJV translation, the book of Jubilees was in there, along with other apocryphal books. So it was in there. When they brought the book over to America, they took all the apocryphas out, and the book of Jubilees and the book of Enoch out as well. Okay, so people, a lot of people don't really know that this book exists, and some people that do know it exists, they question it. But it is an ancient text from before the before AD. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very, very ancient text. Okay. All right, great. Now let's get into exactly what it says here about the river Tina, the beginning of Shem's land. Okay. I'm reading from the book of Jubilees, like I said, chapter 8. I'm going to start at verse 12. Load that up just a little bit more. Okay. All right. Starting at verse 12. And there came forth on the writing at Shem's lot, the middle of the earth, which he could take as an inheritance for himself, and for his sons, and for the generations of eternity. From the middle of the mountain range of Rapha, from the mouth of the water, from the river Tina, and his portion goes towards the west through the midst of this river, and it extends till it reaches the water of the abyss, out of which this water goes forth and pours its water into the sea Miat. And this river flows into the great sea. And all that is towards the north is Japheth, and all that is towards the south is Shem's. All right. So we see that the river Tina is the beginning point. It starts at the mountain range of Rapha. Okay. And then I think the waters are sitting in between those mountains or somewhere like that. And the river Tina runs through it. You know what I'm saying? It comes down. Well, let's take a look at it. Okay, let's take a look at it. First, I want to take a look at how they present this same text. Other scholars and other writings about the river Tina. Just briefly, I'm just going to kind of describe how they view this text. Okay, so they view it as starting at the Don River or the Tanis River, which is right here. Okay, and this is over here near the Black Sea. All right, so this is what they have written about the River Tina. All right, and they have it going, and the scripture says that it goes west from here. Okay, so they have it going here into this lake right here, and then into the Black Sea. And then they say this is the river that separates Shem's land from Japheth's land. Okay, and then they come around, I guess they come around this way, and it just confusing. It don't make no sense. Okay, you do all of that and you come around here, and you got to come back to where you start at, the River Tina. And according to the text, you got to go east. And then you got to, because you start off going west, right? You go west, and then you go south, then you go back east, and then you got to go back up to close it. If they did that, then only the area of Saudi Arabia would be covered. Okay, let's give them. I even give them a little bit more room. If they went further east and covered the land of Iran and came back up this way, and then you got to come all the way back west. But that's not what the text says. All right. God forbid if you go all the way to the land of India, how are you going to run back into the River Tina? They have that the mountain Rafa is all the way over here in Armenia, okay, where it starts at. So it doesn't match the text to say that they got to go all the way to the east and then come all the way back to the west to meet up with the mountain range of Rafa. Okay, so that's what they have, some of the scholars, some of those so-called scholars, or whatever, that's what they have for that. And I just tell you, I don't know if they did their homework, or is it really a conspiracy, to cover up the true people in the true land. You just got to question things like that when you find the actual real thing. It definitely makes you ask that question. All right, so now let's take a look at what I'm going to bring forth. The River Tina according to historians. Like very, very ancient historians. All right, I'm gonna bring this forward from the book, The Geographical Systems of Herodotus. All right, that's what we're going to start at. The Geographical Systems of Herodotus. Remember, the River Tina is the beginning of Shem's land. It's a lot of prophecies filled with the people from the land of Shem. Okay. All right. So you can see that title real good. The Geographical Systems of Herodotus, and it was written by James Reynolds. Let me blow that up just a tad bit more. It was written by James Reynolds in the year. Oh my goodness, what? Okay. It was written by James Reynolds in the year. It was published in 1830. Okay, so if you want to find this book, published in the year 1830 by James Reynolds, and it is Geographical Systems of Herodotus. examined and explained. So basically, he's examined and he's explaining the writings of Herodotus. Okay, Herodotus was a Greek historian. I believe, I thought I had looked this up, but I believe Herodotus was around 500 BC or something like that. So what he's examining and what is he's explaining is somebody's view that was around about 500 BC. Okay, that was before Christ, and all of that. Okay, I mean, Christ was always around. I mean, his spirit, anyways, in heaven, but you know, he hadn't came to earth yet. You know, like in the physical human form. Okay, and took on flesh. So this text right here is pretty ancient, to say the least. All right, it's a pretty ancient text. All right, so let's jump right into it. All right, so let's go to page 453 in this book, and okay, a couple of paragraphs down. I mean, it's, you know, the stuff that's in this book is kind of interesting to read, you know, considering that it's like, it's given an absolute different perspective of some of the ancient lands. You know what I'm saying? Including Babylon and things of that nature. So, but this is not the only ancient book that does that. But this one mentions Babylon as being in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna read up a little bit because we're gonna get into the River Tina, but I just like to add that in there too, because it's all relevant. You know what I'm saying? It's all relevant. Okay, so it says the latitude of Tina. Oh, I said I was going to read up, but oh well. The latitude of Tina, the ancient Pelusium, being given at 30 degrees 48 latitude, and that of Farama at the mouth of that branch of the Nile, 30 degrees 50 latitude. Consequently, the difference of latitude between Suez and Pelusium is 46 minutes, and between the approximating parts of the two seas, 48. Okay. Let me zoom out here. I wanted to go up a couple of paragraphs just to read that little bit about Babylon. Okay. I'm gonna start down there. He said he places Heroum or Heropolis. Let me zoom in. Or Heropolis 55 to the east of Babylon, 13 and a third to the northwest of the inmost recess of the Arabian Gulf. If these distances be corrected by the rule just given us, they ought to be respectively 52 and a half, 12 and 3/4, and Heropolis will also be found to occupy nearly this position by the notices afforded by the Antoine itinerary. The itinerary has a route from the Egyptian Babylon to Pelusium, another from Babylon to Heropolis, branching out from the former at a point nearly midway between the two places and extending onward to Serapu, presumed to have been situated near the head of the Gulf at Arsinoe, and a third from Serapu to Pelusium. From these lines of distance, together with the latitude of Pelusium as it is found in M.D. Anvil. He's another map maker and historian. It says the breadth of the isthmus, together with the intermediate positions on which the lines of the canals depend, may be approximated. Then it goes on to say the latitude of Tina, the ancient Pelusium, being given at 30 degrees 48 at that of Parama, at the mouth of the branch of the Nile. 30 degrees 50 latitude. Consequently, the difference of latitude between Suez and Pelusium is 46 minutes, and between the approximating parts of the two seas, 48. Okay. All right. So let's go on to page 457. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna read up from the beginning of this paragraph. It says, Celia, taken for the sow of the itinerary, is a well-known station, as well from its being situated on the last firm ground in Egypt, toward Syria and Arabia, as from its having been in the present time one out of the outposts of Bonaparte's army. Thalia is given at 24 MPs or 17 and a quarter G miles short of Pelusium from Serapu. It lies very little wide of the road from Babylon, or say Cairo, to Pelusium. It should therefore be 88 MPs or 63 miles from Babylon, 60 from Cairo. I think that's how you pronounce it, Cairo. Travelers allowed 27 to 28 hours of the caravan between Cairo and Salia, which may be taken at 56 miles, whence the distance falls short only 4 miles. And as Thevenot reckoned 10 hours or 20 miles between Salia and the deep inlet of the sea, which appears to be a continuation of the Lake Manzala, opposite Tina, or Pelusium. We have here the deficiency supplied pretty satisfactorily. Okay, so they're saying that the Tina is the Pelusium. Okay, now let's go on to page 460. All right. Okay, so it goes on again to the rivers in this area. It says the river is known by the name Teriat Muz. It strikes off from the Damietta branch or the ancient Sebennetic, a little below the Treab or the Atrib, the ancient Ethribis. The line of direction between the outlet of this branch and the Pelusium is EBN or ENE, and such is the direction of the river itself in the chart of M. Niebuhr. Okay, so let me just go down here and read the notes, right? And this is what it says here. Blow this up a little bit, be seen a little better. Okay, it says as a branch. Too big. Okay, it says Sinita has a branch called the River Tennis, meant Tine or Tina, the modern name of Pelusium, which appears to answer to the Teriat Muz and to the ancient Pelusiac branch in the lower part of its course. Okay, let me read that again. Sinita has a branch called the River Tennis, meant for Tine or Tina, the modern name of Pelusium, which appears to answer to the Teriat Muz and to the ancient Pelusiac branch in the lower parts of its courts. Okay, so basically what it's saying is that The modern name of Tina is the Pelusium. Okay, the Pelusiac branch of the Delta Nile. You know what I'm saying? Because it has several branches as it gets towards the end of the Nile. Okay, one of the branches is called the Pelusiac or the Tina. All right, I guess the Tina must have been the more ancient one, and the Pelusium must be the more modern name for this same branch. Okay, now let's look at this river on the map. Let's look at this, how they drew how they drew it up on the map. Okay, so this maps it takes a look at an ancient view and a modern view of the Pelusiac River, also known as the River Tina. Okay, so this is the Delta Nile, as you can see right here, ancient Lower Egypt and ancient and modern Lower Egypt, ancient and modern. So on this side is supposed to be the ancient side, and on this side is supposed to be the modern side. So, okay, you see the different branches. Okay. That's which one is the Rosetta? I think this one or this one. Oh, this one or this one is the Rosetta. Okay. But we're looking for the Pelusiac or in the Tina, which is, we see here the Pelusiac. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, so we see the Pelusiac River right there, Pelusiac branch. Okay, and it goes that direction right there. Okay. All right. And that is the ancient view of the Pelusiac River. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, interestingly, they got, if you look there, I don't know if you can see it. I can see it clear, but I don't know if you can. It says Babylon right there. Let me see if I can blow that up a little bit. I'm going to do some justice there. Okay, yeah. So it's got Babylon right there. You know what I'm saying? Right there in Africa, right above the Nile Delta. You know what I'm saying? They go Cairo right there, and then they say this is Babylon. All right. And this map got some interesting stuff on it too. This ain't all the goodies that it got on it. You know what I'm saying? This map got some goodies on it. You know what I'm saying? It's going to help prove furthermore that Africa is the true land of Shem. Okay. But this definitely ought to set it off, because what did I say? The Tina is the beginning of Shem's land. Okay. And it travels in the westerly direction. So it starts at the mouth of Rafah. You know, the Rafah is in the Gaza area. You know what I'm saying? The Rafah Mountains, or the mountains, hills. It's not how many really mountains that got hills. Okay. It's got a whole bunch of hills, but no real big mountains. But they said some people categorize them as mountains. Okay. And then it travels westward. Right. And then from the west, where it runs into the Nile River. And, you know, I've already shown that the Nile River is the abyss of waters. but I'm gonna show it again for those that didn't catch that video. Okay, so here's the more modern side on over here to the right. We're looking for the river Tina, and here it is right there. Okay, so according to this was saying that the Tina is more modern and the Pelusium is more ancient. Okay, so there go the Tina, right? Tines, Tina, right? And then it pours its water out there. It flows that way towards the Mediterranean. All right. All right. So we have officially. Well, I'm trying to see. Can you see that? That thing is so light. Okay, I think you see it a little bit better now. Tines, which is, as we read, is the Tina. I don't know if you can see it that clear though. And it's even a little blurry on my end, but yeah, there we go. Tina, it's Tina River, Tina, and we're gonna see, right? Let's go back to page. Let's go back to page 460. Right, Senados had a branch called the River Tines, what we just saw, meant Tine or Tina. All right, the modern name of the Pelusium. All right, so we have officially located the River Tina, you know what I'm saying, based on a very, very ancient historian's view of, you know what I'm saying, the landscape. Let's go on to what it says happened next. Okay. All right. So it says from the mountain range of Rafa, which I told you is over in the Gaza area. You can look that up. You can certainly look that up and verify that. From the mouth of the water of the river Tina, and this portion goes towards the west, so it's traveling westward through the midst of this river, and it extends till it reaches the water of the abysses. Okay, and I brought forth, and I'm going to bring forth again, that the Nile is the abysses, right? The Nile. I'm reading this from a dictionary of the Bible, page 225. Okay, it's here. It's in here twice, on page 225 and on page 695. A dictionary of the Bible. Okay, says the Nile. In Egyptian, the Nile bore the sacred appellation Happy or Happy Mu, the abyss, or the abyss of waters. Okay. All right. So we got the proof going on here that that the Nile is the abyss of waters. L-O-M, A-B-C-D, L-O-M-N. N comes after M, right? Okay, yeah, it does. I was saying, I better not be getting ready to have a slow movement, not right now. Straight up, right, here we go. So this is the second time that it's in this book. It says, with the Egyptians, the river was sacred. It's speaking of on the Nile. With the Egyptians, the river was sacred and had, besides its ordinary already given name, a sacred name under which it was worshipped. Happy or Happy Mu. And in parentheses, it says the abyss or the abyss of waters. Then they got another name, the hidden. Okay. So the Nile is the abyss of waters. So let's take a look how that works. Okay. So it starts off uh, Pelusium or the Tina. Okay. And then it connects to the Nile River, the abyss of waters, and that water pours this water into the sea Ma'at. Okay, that's what it says in Jubilees. Then it pours its rivers into the sea Miat. Okay. Now, trying to prove that the Mediterranean Sea is the Ma'at is a whole nother challenge. But I got something for you to think about. You know, the Egyptian area used to be, you know, they considered Miat a big deal, you know what I'm saying, as one of their, I don't know, goddesses or whatever. You know, they name everything after a god or somebody who presented themselves, or after they died became a god, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But we know there's only one true God. But this is what their culture did. So that the ocean, the sea is named Miat, and the people used the name Miat as their governing law. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was interesting. And so what I did find, something close to it, was this piece right here in War History Encyclopedia, and it says that Uat was the Egyptian name for the Mediterranean. Okay, and it's translated as Great Green. Uat dash Uat. And what is it says is going to the Sea of Ma'at. Okay. It said Uat was the sea itself and not a god of the sea. Okay, but was sometimes pictured as a male with breasts heavy for nurturing and with skin resplendent with shimmer of rolling waves. Okay, that's too much information right there. But I mean, one thing about it, okay, since we proven that the Nile was the river of abyss, and that water pours this water into the sea Miat, the Nile River only goes one way. You know what I'm saying? It may go out into the different branches or whatever, but it's only traveling one way, and that's north. And the only sea that's north from where it came from is the Mediterranean Sea. So it don't take a rocket scientist to figure that part out. You know what I'm saying? And that's the direction that is going in, and that's the sea that it runs into. All right. And you know the rest of the story, right? It follows around. It goes into the Great Sea. That's the other portion of the Mediterranean Sea. And then it runs into the Carasso. That's that little niche in the Straits of Gibraltar. Okay, I showed that on one of my videos. That little area. It's a very little small area. It has a little bosom, and it's called the Bay of Algeciras. And you know, the Muslim conquered that area sometime. The Ottomans conquered that area a long time ago. And you know, they put Al in front of every name. So, you know, Al is just like I don't know what it means though. I never studied Arabic, but maybe it means something like that. I don't know. But so it's got Algeciras, right? So, and the text says it goes into the bosom of Carasso, right? So that's that little area right up there. Let me try to show that on the map real quick. Okay, try to show that on the map real quick. That's over here. Straits of Gibraltar. Okay. You see, there go the Algeciras. And this is the bosom of it. This is the tongue, which looks towards the south. The tongue means the strip of land in the water. And this is a strip of land. It says that looks towards the south, and it does that. And it is in the bosom. It's right in the bosom. And it is called the Bay of Algeciras. This is the Carasso right there. Okay, and then from there it goes into the Great Sea. And in ancient times, the Great Sea definitely was the Atlantic Ocean. I got text to show that. I just didn't pull it out to bring with this video. But you can easily find that information. I mean, you know what I'm saying, that the Atlantic Ocean was called the Great Sea. Okay, so that was the next place on the route. All right. Then it follows around. So this is just a drawing of basically where it goes. You know what I'm saying? Each stop. Then it goes south to the Bight of Biafra. Okay. And then it goes to the Gaihan, which I said is the Congo, with, you know, by way of translation. And it goes east to the garden, under the garden, south of the garden. Then it goes back up to Mountain Rafa. And there it is there. You know what I'm saying? That's the River Tina. You know what I'm saying? The ancient Pelusiac River. Now I want to show something else about the River Tina. I'm going to go down here to the beginning of Japheth territory. Just want to show something right quick to show that even the river is flowing in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? So we got the right river. And it says for Japheth, let me blow that up a little bit. All right. And it says, and for Japheth, okay, came forth the third portion beyond the river Tina, to the north of the outflow of its waters. Okay, it goes to the north of the outflow of its waters. Okay, so now you know that when that water comes out of the Nile and it goes into the Pelusiac branch, it's already traveling north. Okay, it's already traveling north. Let me grab it. Where did it go? It's already traveling. I then closed it out. Dang. Okay, it's already traveling north. So, I mean, it's going in the right direction. I wish I could have showed it, you know, by way of illustration. But yeah, it's already traveling north. Dang, it closed out like a mug. Yeah, so you know, when it's exiting out of the Nile River and then it goes into the Pelusiac branch, when it goes into the Tina River, you know what I'm saying, and it travels through to the mountains Rafa and exit out through the Mediterranean Sea, it's already going in a northward direction. So, you know, everything lines up. You know what I'm saying? Everything lines up according to what's being described in the book of Jubilees, right? The River Tina, you know what I'm saying? The ancient Pelusiac branch of the Nile River. All right. And so, I think that's all I got for the demonstration. I got anything else I want to bring out with that? Oh yeah, I do. It's one other point I wanted to bring out. That's about it's about Canaan land, about Canaan, and I just want to show something. It says, and Ham and his sons. I think this is verse 22 of chapter 10 in the book of Jubilees. Because I've already described where Ham's land is at, but this is a little bit support for what I've already brought forth. Okay, this is chapter 10, verses 22 in the book of Jubilees. It says, and Ham and his sons went into the land in which he had taken, which fell to him by lot in the land of the north, Then it says in parentheses, the south. Okay. So Ham land was South America. But I don't know why they put the land of the north. That part baffled me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why they put that there, but yeah, I don't know. Then it said in parentheses South, so I know that's South America. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe Ham took a little bit of North America too, but actually North America belonged to someone else. It belonged to Japheth's son. You know what I'm saying? Two of Japheth's son. Okay. Then it says, and Canaan saw the land of Lebanon. I like the way they spelled that here, because it almost looked like they were trying to say Libya. You know what I'm saying? Like, it looks like Libya a lot. You know what I'm saying? But it says Lebanon, to the canal of Egypt, that it was very good. And he did not go into the land of his inheritance. Watch this. To the west of the sea. Canaan did not go into his land, which is west of the sea. That's key. So Canaan's land was west of the sea. If Africa was supposed to have been given to Ham, where would he be going? What sea west of would he be going? Okay. He will be going to South America. And that's exactly where he's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? South America. You know what I'm saying? But he wasn't given Africa. He was given a small portion of Africa, right? Ham was given a small portion of Africa. But the book of Jubilees says the order of Ham's territory went Cush, Mizraim, Put, and then Canaan, from west to east. I mean, from east to west. Cush went first, Mizraim, then Put, and then Canaan land was supposed to be to the far, far west. So his land would have been, you know what I'm saying, according to the text, his land would have been on the west coast of South America, which they're trying to say nobody inherited that land. So that I guess that makes South America, I mean, the America is something like a default land. Everybody just fight for it because nobody could lay claim to it, right? According to so-called scholars. You know what I mean? Like, and I think the people who said that, I don't think they realized what they were saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think they knew where everybody was. Maybe they forgot over time. It's been a long time since they seen the lineage of Ham and all of them. Some of the children of Japheth, they probably forgot about him. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't believe it was anybody past the west coast of Africa, right? That was the extent of the world. That was the extent of their knowledge. Okay. But according to the text, Canaan was supposed to got beyond the sea in the west. And what is that? That's South America. He was supposed to get the furthest side to the west of South America, right? Now, if they were saying that about this Canaan, this area, which they said was Canaan land, and they were saying he didn't go to his land that was to the west of the sea, and this is the sea they was talking about, where the heck was he supposed to be going? You know what I'm saying? To Italy? You know what I mean? Where was he supposed to be going? To Greece? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, come on. What, Spain? No, but that's not what they were talking talking about. They was talking about he didn't go to his land that was west of the Atlantic Ocean, the Sea of Atel, just like it says where he went. Okay. So all of these supporting factors and all these supporting things to let the breakdown that I brung out is about as accurate as it's going to get. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if it's some small thing that may be off, I can't tell. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did catch the one about the River Tina, but I knew for myself that I hadn't, verified that the River Tina was the Blue Nile. It just felt right. Like I was on the right route. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew I found the river, the abyss of waters, which was the Nile. So I knew the river had to been running into the Nile. So I figured it had to be in a river in Africa. I didn't think about none of the branches at the Delta Nile. So, okay. I was a little off with that. You know what I'm saying? But not too far off. You know what I mean? I was still in the region. So there you have it, my friends. You know what I'm saying? The River Tina, the beginning of Shem's land. You know what I mean? The Pelusiac branch of the Delta Nile onto the Nile and the Mediterranean Sea. Below it is Shem's land. There you have it. You know what I'm saying? History for the revolution of your mind. I'm old, the producer, also known as Koluka Solo by Otito. I want to say thank you for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace and grace.